All right, what's up, guys? We're still in section 4 here. This is going to be episode 2 today. The second episode of every section is about muscles, so that's what we're going to be discussing for the most part today. Go back and watch the previous video is about bones and joints in the elbow, forearm, wrist, and kind of into the hand a little bit. We're not going to dig too far into the hand for these episodes because we could spend hours discussing what's going on in here. So let's touch on biceps, triceps here real quick. Those are both two joint muscles. So we talked about them a little bit in the section about the shoulder complex, but they also come down and move our elbow. Let's take a look at the triceps first. So it's got 3 muscle bellies. That's why it's called the triceps. Take a look at the shoulder attachments. Again, we're not going to dig too much into that. And then see how all the muscle bellies kind of come together onto this pretty heavy tendon we got there, because triceps are a powerful elbow extensor. Think close grip, bench press, push-up, stuff like that. You're going to hit the triceps pretty hard. Even like kickbacks, triceps extension, of course. But as far as movements, it's pretty simple there. Triceps can really just extend the elbow. And the reason I say that, let's flip around. We'll take a look at the biceps next. So 2 muscle bellies for the biceps. And we tend to think of the biceps as, just curls, but biceps is a pretty powerful supinator, which think like a doorknob or using a screwdriver. That movement is supination. We talked a little bit about pronation, supination in the previous episode, so go back if you're interested in kind of what's going on with the bones, joints for supination. So you can see where that biceps tendon comes down and attaches on the radius and why it causes that supination. There's a muscle that's right next to the biceps here. It's actually called the supinator. So take a guess on what it does. You got it. It supinates. So assist that movement with the biceps, but that's really the only thing that the supinator does. And then from there, let's take a look at, so we have 2 pronators, which means they turn your hand and your forearm down like that. The pronator teres kind of runs with the wrist and finger flexors, and you'll see that as we add in all the other muscle groups. The pronator quadratus is down closer to our wrist. Maybe not as powerful, but just so you know that it's in there and what it does. Let's go ahead and start putting in some of the wrist and finger flexors because we're on this side of the forearm. We're not going to name all these. I think what's important to recognize is they all come together and attach kind of on the inside of our elbow here. And this, just in layman's terms, is often referred to golfer's elbow. If people have pain on the inside of the elbow with gripping or maybe legitimately with swinging a golf club. So all those wrist and finger flexors that we're looking at here on the images, again, that's the take home there, is that they come up and attach on the inside of our elbow. And these are 2 joint muscles also. So they move our wrist, and they also come up and attach onto our humerus, which is the bone in our upper arm. And oftentimes that's where the pain shows up. But it's from a muscle that's here and comes all the way down and moves our wrist, hand, fingers. All right, and then let's flip over to the other side. We'll take a look at the wrist and finger extensors. So we talked about how the flexors come up and attach on the inside of the elbow. The extensors are going to come up and attach on the outside of the elbow. Lateral elbow pain also are often referred to as tennis elbow or lateral epicondylitis. We'll go into why that's a misnomer as we get into episode 4, where we're talking about self-treatment and exercise, but we'll let that be for right now. What tends to happen is we're too grip dominant and we overuse all these flexors, and that can lead to pain on the inside of our elbow. So it's worthwhile to keep those muscles stretched out and loose. Now on the flip side, we're talking more about a strength issue typically, okay? This isn't one size fits all. It's just some common issues. So even though it's a different issue through the extensors, it's weakness rather than tightness. again, they come up and attach here on the outside of our elbow, and that can be where the pain shows up due to weakness in the wrist extensors. So quick and dirty take home is keep those wrist flexors stretched out and keep those wrist extensors strong. Stay tuned for episode 3 and 4. Episode 4 is self-treatment and exercise, like I said earlier. Episode 3 will be about nerves. And if you go back and watch the previous sections and episodes, we've essentially started here where the nerve roots come out of our neck, and we've gone through the shoulder. Now we're getting into how those nerves branch out and go down our arm. Okay. Thanks for watching. Don't hesitate to reach out if you got any questions. Thanks, guys. See you soon.